So I thought what I would do is kind of spend a little bit of time in our application. If you've never seen it before, I certainly can do a deep dive demonstration for you at your request. But I thought what we'd do is just kind of give you some basics of how the application works today, how we might start to understand how it kind of basically works. So when we log into our application, we'll be looking at a set of dashboards. That this is interesting information that kind of tells me what my bookings are, and what my current customer open orders are, and who they would be, and then what my shipments are looking like through the month. And so it kind of helps me with understanding that data from an exception base. And I can certainly, as I start to say, okay, that's great, but what about how are my channels working? And we can kind of get to that business intelligence pretty quickly now. So when I look at a specific dashboard, yeah, I certainly got my bookings and my open orders, but here's my channel performance. So it seems like a customer direct is my largest channel. My partners are doing well, and my VARs not as well, certainly as my partners, and certainly not as that. So, the question might be then, so how could I help a partner succeed, help a value-added reseller succeed? And so understanding the channel performance against the sales is kind of a powerful piece of information on how we're running that. So kind of when I look at this, it's a very clear snapshot of kind of like who's doing what and how it's performing in terms of channels or customers, or certainly these can be presented for products. What are my best top selling products and those sorts of things. So kind of get a really good scope for how the business is running. And then when we start to kind of go from that business intelligence down into the transactions, how do we support that kind of business intelligence reporting that's included in the application? So you can see here I've got different partner relationships here. I got my partner, my VARs, and I've got direct customers and those sorts of things. And when I look at any one particular order, I can see kind of where that detail comes from. So when we look at this particular order here, this order is been sold to a specific organization, and that organization has a build to ship to, but could obviously have multiple ship tos. We are fulfilling this particular order from this partner reseller, and they used our quoting tool. So they took a customer-facing quote and converted it to an order, and that order got fulfilled. And so for a lot of our customers, this is a key performance indicator, the amount of time it takes to actually fulfill that. And I'm fulfilling that from a very specific customer, from a very specific warehouse fulfillment. But I certainly could change that relationship and say, you know what, instead of having a warehouse fulfill that, I'm going to do a drop ship sales order. And that kind of simply changes the model now, where I have a third party doing this for me. So when I change that, so if I do in fact change that, I'll kind of show you how that works. If we go in and now I'm doing a drop ship order, it looks exactly the same. So the processing is repeatable. It's easy to change it. One click, and I've changed the entire back-end fulfillment process. So we're kind of always looking for that sort of thing. And then if I have another kind of an order, I'll show you another kind of an order here. This is where we're selling through a channel, happens to be Target.com's channel, and now we're doing EDI, and they're reselling our application, and we're taking an EDI order directly from Target and fulfilling it. And so this is certainly my customer. But when we're shipping now, we are shipping to Target's customer. So this is Target's customer. So we are doing that channel, that .com sale. But it looks shockingly like, and I'm doing a warehouse fulfillment on behalf of Target. So in this case, we actually produce the Target pack slip and use the Target account record for their UPS or FedEx account number. So, understanding these complexities of these channels through the fulfillment is kind of where we're making our niche, trying to make that a little easier for folks. And then one of the things that we've seen in just quoting people has been very, very interesting for us. And so I kind of wanted to show you, because we do have a few minutes left here, what would be the difference in drop shipping and versus inventory versus maybe, that subscription service model. So I'll kind of take you through these. So if we start with a drop ship quote, we're going to be quoting our customer prospect here, Miguel, who obviously is a current customer. Now, if they're not a customer, they're a prospect. That's kind of the way we think about it. So what we do is we sell to companies, but we quote people. In this case, we're quoting Miguel. And so Miguel has these products that he would like to buy. The application has included for me some upsell opportunities for this, because I'm selling him a fan belt, a bearing, and a fan. It's very easy for us to add product automatically to help boost sales, so customers do like that. Any sales rep can change anything, so if I want to delete lines, very easy to use. I would say it just takes a few minutes for someone to learn how to use this. And then how do we get to a price for Miguel? And so there's a few different ways that people will do it. They'll do a cost plus model, they'll do a profit margin model, or they'll do a price list minus some sort of a discount. So if we say, I really want to get to a profit margin and I want to get to 22.5% margin on this, what should the price be, right, for just one of these things, right? So this is my customer price that they're seeing here is $63. And if I change this to, quantity, it should theoretically reconfigure that for me pretty quickly. So yeah, he wants a couple dozen pieces to save that, and so I can always get that. So in where we have customers that are doing compensation based on margin, this gross profit margin here is critical number for them, because it needs to go all the way through their back end and into their compensation system. So kind of that's one way that we kind of think about managing margins and trying to manage that complex supply chain. The next thing, how do I book an order? Well, that's pretty arduous, but if we just create that order, right? So, when people go out and they shop for a quoting system and then they shop for an order fulfillment system, now they got to make them work. So, kind of under that banner of less software, we have booked an order from a partner in telesales via a quote, and now we're going to do warehouse fulfillment. So, again, pretty easy to use. It's a contiguous process. It's not trying to make three different products kind of talk together. Now that's a little bit different than if I want to sell and quote rather than a drop ship, where I want to sell from inventory. That's kind of a little bit different. We're still going to sell to Miguel here, but we're going to change the experience. I'm just going to say, I want to sell some of my widgets to Miguel here because he's interested in there. And so because I do warehouse fulfillment as opposed to drop ship in this case, I'm going to say, what is my available to promise inventory in my warehouses? And what kind of inventory do I have? Do I have new and used kinds of inventory? So we kind of manage that aftermarket services. What price can I offer Miguel based on the date, the quantity, the condition code, and says, yep, Miguel wants 10 of those, and he wants them in a brand new condition code. And when I do that, it's very simply the system's going to pick the exact right price for Miguel based on the quantity, date, condition code that he's looking for. I can send that quote off to him, obviously, and then when he's ready to book, let's price him. Let's go list minus in this case, maybe 1.5, right? So I give him a little discount here. So now we're managing the margin, and he's getting a discount based on that sale price, and I book that order. So simple, again, process, but totally different. Now I'm doing a warehouse fulfillment, so easy to do. And then one of the interesting things that we're working on that we're really kind of excited about is what we're calling this subscription economy, and how that works. And we work in that subscription economy. And so in this way, now we're adding services in terms of recurring and non-recurring model. So I have, we offer non-recurring professional services, and then we offer a recurring subscription fee. So, if our customers would license a subscription, and they would be buying a number of licenses at a specific cost, and then we can certainly, discount that as appropriate and end up with a discount, and then over some service term, like 8 quarters, 2 years, whatever, we end up with a total contract value. And this way, now we're delivering professional services and a subscription. So, in one system, we've gone from warehouse fulfillment to third-party fulfillment or supplier fulfillment. We've gone into a subscription economy where we're doing time and material and services in the same system. So we kind of, that is our niche. We like to think about the way that we kind of manage those processes in a kind of a holistic or less software model, if you will. And so when we think about that channel, those fulfillments of those channels, the complexity of that's that simplification that we're talking about, making those channels perform, monitoring their performance, and enabling that performance. So, that's kind of our environment today in businesses, and what people are talking about. Literally, from our snapshot of talking to hundreds of companies, that's kind of what they're striving to do, and we're here to kind of help enable that. So, if there's ever as you think about your organization and what you're trying to accomplish, and you want to engage with us about talking about what your passion and your desire for moving your business forward, we're open to those conversations and think that we can bring something to the table to help enable those multi-channel and the performance of those channels, so that it's an affordable way to grow your business. So we thank you for your time today,